Hey Sarah, my condolences to you and your family for the loss of your mother. I can only imagine the grief you guys are going through. And that's actually sort of what's compelling me to make this video, as the past few months of my life have been somewhat shrouded by this idea of death. I lost my grandmother in October, and then a good friend from college who she was my age in November from a brain aneurysm. So I just lost two really close people to me recently, and I find it so bizarre. And I mean, I think this is another one of those examples of this idea of this. I don't know what it is, like this universal energy that just really connects people. I mean, it's completely mind blowing to me that I just emailed you for help with a owl costume, and now you're dealing with emotions that that sort of I had to deal with. I mean, I don't want to compare them at all by any means, but that sadness is there, I think, for both of us. But what's been helping me get through what's helping me with the grieving process is just this idea of when someone passes, I don't feel like they're gone. I don't. I mean, they're obviously not here in a physical sense, but I don't feel like that's what's important in the first place. Like, my grandma didn't speak a lick of English. She was Serbian. She spoke Serbian, and I don't speak Serbian that well, and I don't understand it that well. So we never really had any in-depth conversations. I didn't know where she stood on matters. I didn't know that much about her, but that love was still there. I still loved her. Like, I loved her a lot, and I know she loved me. The only thing that she could speak well in English was, "This is my grandson." She used to say that to everyone when we'd walk by, or whatever. She was real happy about. She was really, she thought I was awesome. And everywhere we went, she would always tell people, like, "This is my grandson." She'd introduce me like, "This is my grandson." So that love was still there, and I started now questioning what is it that sort of allows love to exist in a relationship. Because here I have with my grandmother, who I didn't speak with that much. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know her ideas. I didn't know her thoughts on life and all that stuff. So, like, there wasn't nothing there, like, concrete. I mean, she was theoretically a stranger to me. But that love still existed. Now we're with my friends. That love wasn't there in the first place, but through conversation and hanging out and all that stuff, that love developed. So I sort of started questioning, like, how can love exist for some people when it's just a label? Like, she was my grandmother, and I was her grandson. I think that alone allowed that love to exist. So I started questioning, like, well, why is labels, the deciding factor on how much love you have for someone? Like, that sort of bothered me. That how come I couldn't love a stranger as much as I did my grandmother, or all that stuff? And I sort of came to, like, this, like, I guess, the realization that it's sort of a choice we have, to not allow that love to exist, um, for everyone. I mean, we choose not to love a stranger. We choose not to show love to someone we're just passing by with, and that sort of bothered me. So I've been on this huge kick of really just trying to love everyone, and that's sort of why I wanted to make this to you, um, because, like I said, I just find it I find it really interesting that our paths would cross, I suppose, at this time in our life. But um, I just wanted to, again, just say that I'm thinking about you. I hope that your grieving process is I mean, you do what you have to do, but don't let this bring you into a dark place, I guess, to where you can't come out of it. Because I feel when someone passes, they're not here physically, but their essence, or their being, their soul, whatever you want to call it, I feel still exists. And talking with people who've lost someone close, and even myself, and my family with my grandmother, and then my friends with our friend who passed away, everyone always says that it's so weird. I feel like the person's still here. And I truly believe that the person is still here. I think they live on in our hearts now. Um, it's like if like like my friends right now, like they're not with me right now, but I still love them, you know? And it's just really interesting. It's just the idea of life and death. Um, but I know for I can't say a fact, but I know in my heart, and I can definitely feel it, that when someone passes, they're all that is just they're not here physically. They're not here in a physical form. If you ever need to have a conversation with your mother, uh, I feel like you can still do that. If you're having a time, if you're having like a trouble or a question in your life, I feel like despite her not being here, uh, she can still help you and still guide you to make the right decisions. And I mean, if you have that belief, it's almost like how can something that isn't that is gone, if something was truly gone, then it couldn't influence your decisions that you make in the present. So I feel like that just proves, that logic alone proves that when someone passes, they're still here. Because I definitely know that, if I'm ever having a hard time with life, I know my grandma's going to be here. I know exactly what she's going to say, and I know exactly what she's going to do. And knowing that is going to influence, my decision. So she's not, you can't say that they're gone. Um, Needless to say, like I said, I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you, and I hope, uh, I hope you guys can get through your grieving process and end in a good place, because I feel like death is the ultimate gift that someone can give to you to let you know what it means to be alive. Um, it really puts into perspective, at least for me, what it means to be alive. Uh, you get to reflect, and sort of live out the rest of your days with the person in your heart, and I don't find that there's a better place for them to be. Um, so, needless to say, I'm sorry again for your loss. I also included a link in the email that sort of explains what Burning Man is. Uh, that you can watch if you want to, and sort of get an idea of that. And also, if you want to talk, if you need someone to talk to, talking helps me all the time. So you just want a stranger to talk to and sort of air out your stuff, or I don't know, I think it just helps to talk to someone who doesn't know you, because I don't know, I enjoy doing that. But needless to say, my 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 heart goes out to you. Um, I suppose that's it. So peace, love, and thanks for answering my questions.